There's an old shoe repair stop in my neighborhood. The guy that runs the place is in his mid-70s. His son, who is in his 40s, is going to take over it when he dies, I guess. I saw this PBS show on YouTube. It was part of a documentary, and the part of the documentary that I saw was kind of a human interest story about a once successful person that was financially obliterated during the panic of '08. But then she wrote a book about her experience, about what it's like to have a life that is poor when you used to be rich. She even gave a TED talk about what it's like to be poor. I guess nowadays you can become famous for being poor, but you can't get rich from being poor, which kind of sucks. There's a lot of strange news reports about the economy lately that try to paint some strange picture of seemingly diametrically opposite circumstances. They'll say silly things like, despite how booming the economy is, there's more and more people needing to live in their cars. Nobody knows why. But whenever they say booming economy or anything that indicates the economy is doing fantastic, they always cite the same pair of government statistics, that the GDP continues to expand. And because the unemployment rates are at historical lows and the economy continues to expand, therefore it must be booming. Of course, most economists that don't work for the government don't believe either statistic. There's this old guy that I talk to in the park sometimes. Despite the economic troubles, he has 4 shops, all of which are still making a lot of money for him passively. He has other people run them for him. He finally told me his story about how when him and his then wife first got started many decades ago, they first got interested in the occult to help him with their business. They wanted to learn about the occult, about black magic, about the dark arts. When they first started, they only wanted to know a little bit, enough to help them with their business. But his wife seemed to love going down the black magic rabbit hole. It turns out that she found that the black magic arts, the dark energy flow, is much more compelling than making money. She found that the flow of dark energy through your body is much more compelling than becoming rich. That when you accept the flow of dark energy through your body, it's much better than having sex. That when you accept the flow of dark energy through your body, it's much better than becoming famous. That when you accept the flow of dark energy through your body, this feels much better than even eating something delicious when you are hungry. And so she abandoned all hope for a normal life with her husband and went completely down the path of dark magic, and to use her, to submit her, to give her mind-body system as a vessel to be used by the dark flow of energy. Of course, as soon as she started down that black magic rabbit hole, he ditched her and only learned enough to help him start his businesses. And he learned that if you combine the tincture of some very esoteric plants and mix them in very strange ways, you can create this unique aroma that when you let the customers in your shop smell this unique aroma, they will generate some very subconscious buying energy. That when you smell this, you will want to buy things. That when you smell this, you will want to purchase things. That when you smell this, everything you see will seem very compelling. You will want to get this. You will need to have this. You will want to purchase this. Of course, he can't just sell anything. He has to actually sell legitimate products. But when they come into his shop and they smell the unique combination of the tincture of esoteric plants, what they would buy online, they were willing to pay a lot more for in his shop when they have this experience. If you have 2 10-hour per week part-time jobs, you are considered to be employed according to the government statistics. If you give up looking for work, even if you don't have a job, but if you haven't actively looked for a job in the past 4 weeks, you are not counted as being unemployed. If they calculated the unemployment the same way they did back during the 80s, the unemployment rate today would be about 23%. All the homeless people you see are not counted as being unemployed. All the people on permanent disability, all the people on welfare, all the people that are permanently out of work that have given up looking, none of them are counted as being unemployed. They include government spending in GDP growth. GDP growth is calculated as total private spending plus total government spending plus or minus the total imports or exports. And because about 25% of government spending is debt that will never be paid back, it's kind of a sketchy way to count growth. That would be like spending money on your credit cards and then counting that spending on your credit cards as part of your income. The lady had this high-paying job with this really fat 401k, and then she cashed everything out to start her business. Her business failed, and then the panic of '08 happened. They showed her business on PBS, and it didn't really look like she did a lot of market research. The type of business she opened didn't seem to be something that would be sustainable even in a growing economy. So the lady looked like she might have just used the panic of '08 to outsource the blame for her business failure. But if you look at all the people that have successful businesses, it usually takes 2 or 3 business failures before they have a business success. So she gave up after her first success and went on to become famous for being poor. The dude at the shoe store said that something happened after the Vietnam War. He said the government spent so much money, they essentially went bankrupt during the 70s. And ever since the 70s, the economy has switched from being an economy based on manufacturing to being an economy based on consumption. So everything they make now has to be consumed, which means everything they make needs to be expired within 2 years. Everything they make needs to wear out within 2 years because they need humans to keep buying things to keep this economy going. Before that, everything was made to last a long time, several generations. And he said all of the shoes that he repairs are from a long time ago, back when they made shoes that would last. And every time I go in there, there's always a huge collection of shoes on the shelf that he has repaired that are waiting for the customers to come pick them up. So it turns out there's a lot of people that have old shoes that they keep fixing so they don't have to buy new shoes that will only wear out in 1 or 2 years like everything else.